I was 3 days into my attempt to thru hike the Appalachian Trail, and at least 100 more days lay ahead. My pre-trail training had me feeling strong, and I was enjoying having more company at campsites than I ever had before. But this particular morning, there was a little mix-up because of all that company. Very, very cold this morning, and somebody took my RSAC. They all look the same from the outside, but mine has a black carabiner, and I wish that person would have just remembered what tree they tied it on. Anyway, at first I was kind of mad because I was going to have to ask around camp to make sure whoever had it wasn't still in camp, you know, and some people were still sleeping and I didn't want to wake them up. So eventually I find out it's someone down the trail, and like, it's a pretty funny story when you think about it. I did meet back up with that guy that accidentally took my bear bag, my RSAC I mean, and he was so sorry. I felt so bad because he was prepared to walk all the way back to where we camped. He had to walk back down this hill, like biggest hill of today that he had just climbed up, and then we met. Then he had to walk back up that hill, but it's okay. I mean, that's okay as in I feel bad for even thinking anything of it. Like, accidents happen, and now it's just a funny story. The weather has warmed up really nicely, and I ran into some southbound section hikers, and they said the terrain ahead of me today is going to be pretty nice. So looking forward to that. It's only just past 11, so I usually wouldn't stop this early, but because I didn't have a big breakfast, it's lunchtime. On today's episode of Is That Kinda Gross or Kinda Good, we have pulled pork, but out of a package, like you'd see chicken, or especially tuna. I got this in the hiker box at Neil's Gap. Oh man. You don't even want to know what it looks like. It kind of throws me off because it's cold, unlike the pulled pork I'm used to, but it's actually pretty good. Because it is day 4, sad to say, but my excitement over starting the trail is starting to fade away a little. I'm noticing it's kind of the same thing that happens every long backpacking trip I go on, where I'm like, all I do during the day is pass time while walking. All I do at night, in the evenings, is pass time at the campsite. And it just seems like getting from one moment to the next. And I think maybe if you don't get to hang out in nature as much as you want, it might be like, that's kind of a dumb problem. And don't get me wrong, I knew what I was getting myself into. It's just kind of like a bummer that it's happening so early when I was so excited 3 days ago. Eventually I'm going to download podcasts to listen to, but I want to wait a few weeks because I don't want that to be my default. You know, I want it to feel like a privilege when I get to do that. And also I need to find people to hike with or chat with in camp. Last night I didn't really talk to anyone because I was kind of tired, and it felt like everyone at the campsite knew each other, and that was kind of intimidating to insert myself. I could, but you know, sometimes I get a little shy. And then 2 nights ago when I was at that campsite where our tents were like in a row, basically on a pathway, then there wasn't really any communal space. So, know what I need to do.
Bringing umbrellas in the way. You can't see how cute I am.
I had dinner around people who were really fun and nice, and just like that, my whole day turned around. I'm so happy to be here and so thankful for the people that are here too. My hair has been in the same braid since the morning of day one, so I thought, maybe time to redo it. Anyway, today I'm hiking in the shape of a W. Downhill, uphill, downhill, uphill. Supposed to be pretty tough. So I could just do that, and that'd be 8 miles. If I have more in me, I'll see what I got. It's 19 miles to Dick's Gap, where I'm going to get a ride into Hiawassee to take a Nero day. So that's exciting that that's coming up. A lot of people are actually getting off trail today, or they did at Neal's Gap, but I don't know. I don't really feel that worn down yet. They also say you should pace yourself to begin the AT, start out slow, and let's see, I did 8 miles, 16 miles, 12 miles, I think 14 miles. So, yeah, it's not like I'm going 8 miles, but I'm going under 15 except for day 2. So, to me, it feels like going slower. Tray Mountain. This was the destination for today, and it's 12:30. I don't know how I'm going so fast. I think, again, back to just the excitement of starting the trail, even though I thought that was fading yesterday. When I was in college, I would go for runs and just think, it doesn't matter how slow you go as long as you just keep going. Then, a few years later, I started running with a friend, and she was like, it's harder for me to go your pace, why don't you try to go fast, maybe it'll be easier for you. I think it's just maybe that I'm trying to boost myself up these hills and rip the band-aid off instead of taking it easy like I normally would. Who knows? Maybe they need to check my oatmeal for performance enhancing drugs. Now the question is, there's 11 miles till the Dick's Gap where I'm hitching into town, and do I want to continue on further and have a shorter day tomorrow, or could I stay here in this really cool campsite and just chill? Kind of a on trail, half day, 0 day. I don't know. I'm gonna lay in the sun and think about it. I think I will stay here after all. My goal with this trail isn't to do it fast or anything. I just want to really drink in the experience, and I think it would definitely be meeting that goal to just spend the day enjoying the view and laying on this rock, living my best lizard life. So, really amazing day. Actually, I did end up regretting staying. I was like, oh man, I could have hiked longer. I only did 8 miles today. Like, I just feel so unaccomplished, I guess. But then, ended up having a good conversation with people again. So that was really fun. And I feel like it's one of those things where whatever you decide, you're always gonna kind of wish you chose the other thing. And it is supposed to storm on Friday night, tomorrow night. And I was like, well, there was no hotels. I guess I'm just gonna have to weather the storm. But people have been saying, like, reminding me that it's gonna be really hard to sleep in the tent. So I asked my friends that I met on trail if I could stay in their room that they got for the night. And they said, yes, I'll just sleep on the floor. But anyway, so lucky to be able to not be out in the rain and to spend time with friends. And speaking of being lucky, a lot of people I meet now are introducing themselves by trail names. And I was like, I want one too. On the JMT, my trail name was Lucky. It was Mishap at first, but then someone suggested Lucky because a lot of mishaps happened to me. But luckily, they all work themselves out. I asked if it was normal to go by a name from a different trail, and they were like, yeah. So, I am lucky for now. That wind woke me up at 4 or 5 this morning. I fell back asleep at 6:30, got up at 7:20, and then I looked out of my tent and everyone else was gone. So, first one at the campsite, one of the last ones to leave. But that was just this time. And I haven't eaten breakfast or brushed my teeth yet because it is just so miserably windy and cold. I'm like, I'm gonna get somewhere a little more out of the wind, then take care of that stuff. Over there where the hill to our right gets lower, I think it would be windy. So I think my best bet for now is right here.
Loop instead of high into.
Now I'm coming down from that mountain. It was called Kelly Knob, and I only have 4 miles to go, till Dix Creek Gap, I think it's called, where I'll get a ride into town or into where the hostel is. So the earlier I get there, the more time I'll have to relax. So I'm trying to walk pretty fast. Where was the energy I had yesterday when I needed it? Only a half mile now, and trying to walk fast because I can't wait. All the luxuries of being in town. I'm gonna put my feet up, eat something, go to the bathroom somewhere with a flushable toilet. When I reached Dix Creek Gap, I found out I just missed the shuttle to the hostel. So I had a snack and chatted with some other hikers for a little bit. Yes, that is a baby on trail. Her parents said they were only going in until it didn't make sense for their family. And they were really nice. They gave me tea. Then a fellow hiker in the parking lot said, "Hey, anyone need a ride? Sounds sketchy, but that kind of thing happens a lot around here." And a few minutes later, we were at the hostel, and they had everything.
Got 2 laundry machines, and then the launder clothes are over here to the right. All the food resupply, freeze-dried stuff, backpacking stuff this way. We got cook systems, hygiene products, got all the water systems over here, rain gear, sun gear. Other shuttle sign-ups, so we've got a Clayton shuttle leaving at 3:30.
Here I am at Around the Bend Hostel. I have a towel and a washcloth they gave me. I'm gonna be sleeping in this bed. Oh yeah, actually it worked out for me to split with another person, so sleeping on the floor. So so happy to be here. I can't wait to get a shower and eat something. Oh my gosh, I think this might be my favorite part of backpacking. Not staying overnight somewhere, but just how excited you get about clean clothes and more food. But I had plenty of work to get done too. You gotta dry stuff, shower, throw away trash, do laundry, see what other hikers are giving away in the hiker box, eat, pet a cat, and more stuff that I would save till tomorrow. In the morning, I was so glad to be inside waiting out the rain. I was still planning on taking a 0 day, a rest day, 0 miles walked, since I had reservations at a hotel. I pet the dog, to be fair, worked on some videos, and then I took the hostel shuttle to the trail and the Hiawassee shuttle from the trail into town and to my hotel. Beautiful area, and look at that cute hotel. Made it to my room. I finally got to grocery shop and got my first trail magic, where someone does a random act of kindness for a hiker. Oh, thank you.
You're quite welcome.
Some friends from the trail who were also staying at the same hotel, Sarah and Darren, and I got a free ride, again, to the Hiawassee Brewery. It seemed like the spot to be in town, and a great way to cheers to having hiked almost 70 miles. Who knew what the rest of the trail had in store? But the first week was full of adventure, good company, and a sense of accomplishment. We sat watching the sunset over the mountains, drinking our beer, and drinking in the moment. Well, there we have it, the end of my first week on trail. I can't believe it. Every week I want to answer the same set of questions, and that way we can compare how the weeks went. The first question is, what did you notice about the landscape or the seasons changing? And landscape I can't really speak to because this is the beginning, but as far as seasons, trees are very much still bare. There are some bushes and shrubs that are just starting to bud. There's a few flowers, a few like ground plants, but for the most part it's really cool because you can see through the trees the mountains in the distance and you're like, oh yeah, I'm on the AT. It does very much still feel like spring has not sprung yet, although there were some warm days in the beginning of this week. Next, what was the common experience among the hikers I was around this week? And I could talk about this. You know, every day was a little bit different. At first, we were all very excited. I did see a lot of people carrying really big packs and a lot of people I don't want to say they weren't prepared because maybe they were mentally prepared, but it took a lot out of them. Day 3, a lot of people got off trail at Neil's Gap. They stayed at Mountain Crossing. I didn't, but it seemed like most people I talked to were going to. And then after that is when I really started noticing people introducing themselves by trail names and people grouping into tramilies. It's kind of like you don't have to be in a tramily. You don't have to have a trail name at this point. I guess you don't have to ever, but it still seems like there's plenty of people who don't. It's just, I'm noticing that more and more. Everyone this week was really talking to each other about gear, talking to each other about pace, and we're all just trying to feel each other out. Someone said it was kind of like your first week of freshman year of college. You're just trying to figure everything out. And that was very true. Very exciting, but you're also very unsure of yourself, and there's so much to learn. Next question I want to ask myself every week is, what problem are you hoping to solve? And right now, that's sleeping. I usually don't fall asleep until 10, 11, 12 even, and then I wake up throughout the night. Sometimes I listen to Netflix shows that I have saved. Sometimes I don't listen to anything, and then that just I just keep thinking about, oh, I hate that I'm awake right now, so that keeps me up. I'm taking melatonin, but that only works so well. Really, I'm just hoping that it kind of works itself out on its own. I remember when I did the John Muir Trail, also called Numu Poyo, I don't think I ever got used to sleeping in my tent in the end, so I don't know. But what memory am I going to look back on most fondly from this is definitely my dad starting the trail with me. When I've done shorter through hikes, I've always wished that I had someone that I knew there at the beginning to kind of see me off on the adventure. My family hiked a lot growing up, and then during the pandemic, me and my dad went on hikes a lot. That's kind of how my channel started. The first couple videos I filmed were me and my dad going on day hikes. So that was just full circle and perfect, and it just meant so much to me. And finally, what did I learn this week? Well, I could go on and on. I learned so much. First of all, hand sanitizer doesn't kill neurovirus. You have to have bleach to kill it. However, if you bring Clorox wipes, you'll have to put them in your food bag because they are a scented item, and then the chemicaliness will absorb into your food. I don't know, I just smelt lemon chemicals as I was eating sometimes, and I do not recommend it. Also, in the beginning, I was thinking, you gotta bring enough toilet paper in case the privies don't have toilet paper. Well, none of them do. You have to bring enough for yourself every single time. And also, this was a big thing these past couple days. If there is not a hotel room available in a town close to trail, try reaching out to the next town over. I don't know why I didn't think of that. Maybe I was too deep in the problem to see the whole picture of it, but when all of Hiawassee was full, some people went to Clayton, and I was like, why didn't I think of that? Overall, it's been such a great time on trail. The weather isn't as bad as I pictured, the terrain isn't as bad as I pictured, and I am so freaking ready for whatever comes next.